Welcome back. So now we're going to refine our discussion of different sources of public funding. And we're going to talk about grants. Now classically we think about these non-refundable grants, they just give you money and you just take it. But there's also convertible grants. Convertible grants are zero interest loans that are condition based. So let's say you get a convertible grant and they say, okay, I'm going to give you $100,000. And if your business over the next 5 years is worth $200,000, then you pay that $100,000 loan back, but with no interest. And if you don't make your hurdle of being worth $200,000 in a certain period of time, then it's just considered basically a grant, a regular donation. Of course, does that incentivize the entrepreneur to maybe not make nearly as much as they could? Do a little more research or experimentation? It could. Of course, hopefully your business grows so fast that you don't care about it. You just give the $100,000 back. No problem. DEG Upscale in Germany, that program is a good example of a condition-based grant. You've also got public loans. So public loans are ones made to entrepreneurs. They're usually given very low, below market rate interest rates. They have very, very long maturity, so many years longer than a conventional business loan. And they have a grace period of repayment. So you may not have to make any payments for a year, 2 or 3 years, whatever you've managed to negotiate in there. And some good examples of organizations that provide these programs are any of your development banks. Development Bank of Canada, Startup Loan UK, or you can also look at honor loans through a variety of different banks in France. Prêt d'honneur. And then the public institutions are also getting in on the VC action, and they are also making loans to venture capital funds. And they do this also through the development banks. So they're actually becoming limited partners in venture capital funds. Crazy, right? But again, countries are seeing the value of this. Now they also make guarantees. Again, this is just like the SBA loan guarantee program that we have here in the United States, the Small Business Administration loan. Again, it mobilizes funding and it lowers the financing cost. You have to remember, it can be very expensive for a new business owner to secure funding, right? Because they're high risk, so they may have to pay a high interest rate. By having a guarantee from a public entity, you can get you can get a lower interest rate because it's less risk, because the public entity is willing to cover your loan in case of a default. So, the question you have to ask yourself is, does this support entrepreneurs or does this support banks? Well, you can say that it supports entrepreneurs because it gives them access to finance that they might not otherwise have. But it can also be seen to support banks because the banks wind up making loans that are riskier than they would normally take because they know that the public entity is guaranteeing it, so they can get loans when they wouldn't normally make those loans. Okay? Public organizations, the European Commission, etc., through its different arms, they're also looking at, and development banks in particular, are looking at becoming limited partners in venture capital funds. They're becoming investors just like any other investor in a venture capital fund. And of course, they also get to reap the benefits of that. And one particular mechanism is the fund of funds, where a public organization gives money or becomes a limited partner in a venture capital fund with the expectation that the venture capitalists or the fund managers can raise 4 to 5 times the amount of the initial money given to them by a public institution so that it can become a complete venture capital fund. So it's a way to kind of prop up venture capital funds. Because let's face it, if a fund manager can say, look, I've already got $1 million from a public organization, I just need 9 million more, maybe you can get that second million, then that third million, and then it just gets easier after that. And that actually wraps up this particular playlist. I know it was short and sweet. If you have any questions, type them down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And here's my question for you, my YouTube audience. Do you have any experience with any of these programs? Especially grants. I'm sure some of you are used to grants. Let me know about your experience in the comments down below. I'm looking forward to seeing the next playlist.